Welcome to the SwitchClicksPodcast, episode 63, recorded on December 14th, 2021. This episode, we'll be discussing the shows and movies we've watched in 2021. My name is Dakota, and today I'm joined by Tyler.
Hello.
The Clicky Awards are back for 2021. We've nominated over 50 games in 16 categories for you to vote on, and vote before December 23rd using the link in the description or the show notes. So yeah, we've been kind of stuck still at home here in Canada, so we've watched a decent amount of shows. I know I've watched a crap ton of anime.
I've watched a ridiculous amount of YouTube. That doesn't count.
Same, I've watched way too much YouTube. Like, if anyone wants a statistic on my anime list, I'll link it in the show notes also. I've watched 24.7 days of anime. That's roughly 10% of my year.
Wow.
I don't know if I'm a degenerate yet, but...
I don't know where I would check how much TV I've watched this year, but I honestly don't know, because how I typically go, it seems to be like really interesting TV shows, and then for a month, I'm hooked on like 3 TV shows that I finish, and then I go back to not caring for a couple months.
That's my relationship with kind of Netflix. It's, oh, there's a cool show I saw a trailer for. I'll watch that, and then a month later, I'll watch another thing. Or whatever popular.
Yeah.
Like, when Squid Game came out, I watched it because it looked interesting, and then apparently it was really good. Was alright.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like recently, when something really big comes up on Netflix, like Arcane or Squid Game, I'm not like being contrarian or anything. I just don't want. I don't know why.
Well, that
Maybe
will
I'm
change
too.
your mind. I will change your mind today.
Yeah, hopefully. I think honestly, it's because I've been way too far down the rabbit hole of superhero content, which is going to be pretty. Like you're gonna notice on my list of things I've watched, but I've purposely removed the 18 superhero movies that like in order of which they came out for the by tiers, and I've only made 4 videos, so I have a little bit of catching up to do.
So yeah, we might as well start with your list. We have about 6 each around, but we've kind of picked a handful. What would be your first one?
First thing I know I watched this year was probably Invincible. I'm not sure you watched Invincible.
I did not, but I saw a lot of rave about it, and then I also saw how far it got in like their comic.
Yeah.
My brother watched it though.
How I started watching Invincible, it just kind of popped up, and I was like, oh, I kind of recognize that from my brother who had a couple of the comics. So I'll give it a try. It's really good, and I was hooked on it for way too long.
Well, I'll tell you this now. I've seen probably clips of probably the most important fight kind of at the end. I assume it's at the end. And I've seen the memes with J.K. Simmons Omni-Man, where it's like, think, Mark, think. So I've seen that, and just that fight, and all the other characters, I have no idea.
So I'm gonna give you the pitch, which includes minor spoilers, but nothing too easy. So pitch for the show is pretty much your normal Saturday cartoons, like your Justice Leagues or your Batmans. Good guys always win. It's never too dangerous, but that's the fun of it. I imagine that's the first episode. The first episode, Saturday morning cartoon, you're having a good time the whole way through. It ends, let's just say, a little bit of a twist. Uh-oh, the superhero you thought was good at the beginning is actually super evil. Whoa, but you don't know why. That's what the whole show is. It's like a tense situation of this that's fact that they're to their family, and you're at the edge of your seat the whole time. You're like,
Yeah, and I don't have much experience with the show, but my brother watched Invincible and also Bad Boys, or what is it called? The Boys? The Boys. Both from Amazon Prime. And they kind of both have the same aspect of, oh, if the heroes were villains, or
Superman,
yeah,
but evil.
basically if the heroes were villains.
But yeah, they both handle it differently.
Yeah, it looks fun. It has good animation, but I guess the next one would be the first one on my list. I have watched like a crap ton of anime, as I said before. I have a few here that I've always wanted to sell specifically you on. One that I've just finished recently, one that I finished probably a few months ago. I guess the first one is called Blue Period. You might have to Google it because I guarantee you've never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
It just finished in the fall anime season, so it was just made into anime from its manga, and it basically follows the main character. I forget his name. Yep, I forget his name. I'm horrible with character names. Anyways, he is a kind of like a cool kid in high school, and he needs a goal in life. So he decides to join the art club, and he finds out that he thinks it's really fun. And he doesn't have any particular like skills in art, but then it follows him over, I believe, his last year of high school, and the exams that you have to do in Japan to get into certain universities. So he's trying to get into the Tokyo Arts University, and those need 3 exams. And it really shows the artistic struggle, I guess some artists have to be unique and get better with your work. But in other cases, you don't need to get better because art is subjective. And it also shows the struggles of specifically Japanese, I guess, exams and how life-changing they could be. And in this case, like, there's probably I believe there's 200 people trying for this exam to get into the schools. And they did it really well. It's such a, I wouldn't say wholesome, but it's such a powerful anime. Unfortunately, there is no confirmation that it's going to be dubbed, but the voice acting is really good. So there are some animation problems, ironically, but
yeah, I don't really care about subtitles or not. I'll watch either. Doesn't really matter to me. Yeah, that sounds like a problem. Is I watch media for escapism, and if I'm watching a show about someone trying to get into art school, feel for me right now. As I stare at this storyboard that I've worked on for a week, and I'm nervous is not good enough.
Yeah, and in this show totally communicates all of it. I've been really into slice of life anime, and because we're all locked down here in Canada and we can't really do much, it's totally escapism for me, 100%. And one that's also kind of similar is Keep Your Hands Off. I'm not sure how to pronounce this, but it's a Japanese name, I believe. Izoken.
Okay.
I will copy and paste the name here. It is, again, it's an anime about making an anime. And it's basically these 3 girls, and one really likes drawing, one is really the business one, and the other is the animation buff. So, and they all decide to get together in their school and make an anime. And then they go to different clubs and they make an anime for the robot club. And they make an anime for, what was the other one? I don't remember. I think it was just to make money. And it was interesting because they didn't just focus on just the animation. They focused on also the money that goes into it and the business practices. But they get really in detail on for example, smear frames. They did a whole episode on basically explaining what they are. Yeah, it was great.
How funny his face look. He go ooh.
And for some reason, it's incredibly entertaining, and I really want more. But they made the entire manga into the anime, so it's a 10 on my list. So
I have not even remotely ventured into slice of life anime. I don't know.
It's a hole. It's a black hole of when you're done with it, you will feel like garbage. It's only because
I like garbage too.
Exactly. It's only because because I can't do any of those things, I'm putting myself in that group of friends, and it's a little bit depressing.
Oh. Escapism. I love it.
Yay.
Whoa, we love escapism.
Yeah, those 2 anime, 100% you should watch. Specifically you, Tyler. You are the animation buff of our group, so I feel like you totally...
I guess I will. You don't have to... I wouldn't say... Actually, I would say, and quite possibly, the furthest step away you can get from slice of life anime about learning the animation and art in school. Have the boys,
Yeah.
which it could be touched on in the Invincible section, but its pitch meeting is, superheroes? For corporate, what if they were like consistently a thing? And pretty much the show. It's a very difficult sell, I think, because how you have to be very willing to watch it, or else it's gonna make you lose everything. Just like it just touches on everything. Like just like corporations being bad is pretty corporations bad is the message of the whole series. Ironically owned by Elon. But every single thing in that show is underhanded in some way. No one's nice other than the main character, but even he's not the nicest guy. Just sad to watch, but superheroes. I go, haha, look at Superman. Oh no, Superman, what are you doing? Stop. I feel that's the best spoiler-free way to explain the boys. Superman, what are you doing? Stop.
Yeah, I think one of the main things I've seen from it is the one clip of whatever the Flash knockoff. He ran into somebody's girlfriend and then somebody sues him,
Yeah, the
which is
opening
probably
of
the main focus.
that's the opening
Oh, well, then there you go.
first season. Yeah,
I've
first
basically
season
seen
of the
nothing then.
show. It's a very, but I don't know. It's very if you and satire, but also extreme violence, sex, and like the hardest R rating ever. Go watch The Boys. But honestly,
I-
it's not one. If that does not sound like your cup of tea, do not stay away from it. Watch Invincible. It can potentially be more violent, but it's less draining on your soul.
Yeah, like to me, I feel like Invincible is a little bit more my speed. The Boys is a little
Definitely.
bit too gory for me. Like I have a gore level and it's just a little bit too far. Like Netflix gore is where I'm at.
Like ironically, I think Invincible's gorier than The Boys. Just comes down to Invincible's animated, so you kind of push it off. It's like, haha, animation, it's all red. But then in The Boys, it may be CGI, but you're still like, oh, that's a real person.
That person just died. They didn't get paid for
Oh,
that movie.
yep, there goes their head. It's gone. Yeah. Anyway, let's stay as far away from that, and let's go back to one of your choices.
My next three are all Netflix. So Netflix
Okay.
released Cowboy Bebop, their remake of the original anime. In preparation of it, I was somewhat hyped for the Netflix anime. I had my expectations low because I know that Netflix is not great at making live action anime. Cough cough.
Talking about Death
Death
Note
Note.
was fun. I didn't watch it. I don't know.
Yeah, I only speaking of Death Note, I only knew about like Netflix Death Note because of the anime Death Note, and then I watched the anime Death Note first. I think this year, maybe in February, I did, and it's really good. The second half is not as strong, but it's still really good. But the Netflix sucks.
I first started Death Note. It was the one of the first animes. Like when I was first on like that little kick after Jojo. Death Note was like the next one I tried. I know the whole point is the main character is not a good person. You're like rooting against them the whole time. I don't know. I couldn't get into it.
Yeah, I totally get that. Like, I want Light to win the entire time. It's super interesting that way. The first half is the best part, so hopefully you try it again.
Yeah, I can. I'll probably try it again. Like I saw a couple like out of context people talking about it. I feel like episode. I was almost going into it expecting main character to be good guy main character, and I didn't like where it went. But I'll probably try it again.
For sure, yeah. So, anyways, in preparation of the Cowboy Bebop Netflix live action remake, I watched the original anime in the summertime, I believe, maybe in September. And it was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, and the anime is perfect in every single way. The best I can explain it usually is take Han Solo, make that into an entire genre, and then spread it out for 26 episodes, and you'll want more.
Yeah.
And the
It is
entire
funny. I think Cowboy Bebop was on my initial anime to watch list, and then I stopped watching anime. It's a shame that it feels like I just missed out on something I could have really, really.
yeah, and even when did it come out? The 90s, I believe, mid 90s, I believe it came out. And that
I
style of
think so. Well,
animation is, yeah, and it still keeps up to this day. Like, and the world building is amazing,
for sure.
basically space adventure. Um, and it's a 10 on my anime list here, my personal one, not my anime list. Now the Netflix show came out. I was somewhat hyped for it, and I had my expectations low, and they still didn't meet them. Uh, this could be,
What?
honestly, I think this is a hot take, but I don't think it's that hot because they canceled it after one season.
Well, you're
Uh,
telling me you don't like Jingles exclusively?
yeah,
Like Jingles,
exactly. Oh
you
my.
don't like that? It just looks like the cameraman didn't set up the tripod right and just kept it for the whole show.
Like in some points, the Dutch angles work, and they
Yeah.
did have some unique cinematography, but it half of the time, I might be able to pull up my rant that I did in our private Discord. Let me see if I can pull that up. Dun, 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 dun.
From
Here
what
it
I've
is.
heard from like going on Twitter and stuff, it feels like Cowboy. It was however long. I don't know how long the
The anime is
show actually
20.
was, but it's
The anime is 26 episodes long, and it goes from start of the story to the end of the story. But the Netflix remake got probably the first, I had to guess, like 9
like how
episodes
many
of the
episodes is the
anime.
Netflix remake?
And the Netflix remake, I believe, is, yeah,
Oh,
they
it's
did about
about.
half the anime.
Oh, it's like 9 hour ad to watch the anime instead.
Yeah,
That's how I've
coincidentally,
heard it described.
they stuck the anime on Netflix right when they released it, so in preparation.
It's
Here's
funny.
my rant.
I think Cowboy like the anime stayed on like Netflix's top 10 longer than the Netflix show.
I'm not that surprised. It was bad.
Fair enough.
So
Fair enough.
here's my rant. I'm just gonna read it off here. I finished the
All
live
right.
action Cowboy Bebop. They butchered all the good things from the anime. What did I expect from Netflix? The show is all about character development, and so the anime is a character study, pretty much, of each of the characters and how they live their lives. Um,
Yep.
but they somehow mangled a bunch of key points from character development altogether. They're not even in order, so it doesn't even make sense. The choreography is nowhere as engaging as the anime, and they focus way too much on the Syndicate backstory and less on the Bebop crew, which is stupid. The Syndicate's basically the bad guys, and in this show, they, for some reason, want half of the show to be about them. And meanwhile, in
Huh.
the anime, I believe you get introduced to the main guy. No, Spike is the main character. I don't remember the bad guy's name. But you get introduced them to like 3 episodes in, and then you finally finish it up at the end. And it makes it a lot better because there's a lot more mystery and sinistery nature. And then also Netflix made the Cowboy Bebop kind of way too adult. Jet and Spike literally walk into full strip clubs, and it gets really adult fast. And I get that it might be sci-fi realistic, but it was really uncomfortable. They don't really match anything with that in the anime. Like, it gets too adult, but it doesn't get cringy. I don't think this is a spoiler, but it's like every episode is episodic, so it doesn't really matter in the anime. So one of my favorite
Okay.
episodes of the anime is like this culty AI kind of thing. I don't know. It's like basically the guy, he takes over people through TVs and in promise of changing their loans or whatever. But that was all boiled down to, let's stick the main character into virtual reality for a whole episode and make him stay there. And it was horrible. Every joke in the Netflix adaptation was, it felt like it was a part of a sitcom, and it didn't feel natural. And you could literally stick a laugh track in it, and it
Oh,
would feel incredibly unnatural.
I think I actually saw a video where someone did that. I didn't
Yeah,
watch the show.
I
I
believe
didn't see
Lex
that.
linked the clip, an edited clip.
What are
Yeah.
you talking
Anyways,
about? You don't like the joke where they say like, "Are you blackmailing me?" And it's like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
yes, I am." And I was like,
that's a horrible one.
oof, oof, yikes. That's a
Yeah,
so yeah. Don't watch that one.
Yeah, I'm somewhat glad they canceled it, but I also kind of wanted to see where it went. And it feels like the casual audience really liked it because I saw on Twitter people really liked it, but I could tell they weren't like big anime fans. They were just, what's ever popular.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's a
Fair
hot take
enough.
or not, but yeah, just don't watch the Netflix adaptation.
Speaking of shows being canceled, my next one is Daredevil. Which I finally watched this year for the first time, which technically canceled. Um,
But also technically
not
canon.
arguably. I think they've discanonized it, but apparently they're gonna make like a short Daredevil show to kind of introduce it in like a different-ish kind of way. I think that's what
Hey, you
they're
got the multiverse
planning
now,
on
it doesn't
doing.
matter.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, from what I've heard, or not from what I've heard, I've seen the first 2 seasons and not the last season. Have you seen Daredevil? How much have you seen?
I have not. I don't have much experience in
Daredevil?
the Marvel Netflix area. I've only watched, what do you call it? Iron Fist and a little bit of
Ooh,
what are the
oof.
Iron Cage? What is his name is? Luke Cage.
Cage?
But that's
That
it.
is watched the 2 bad ones. That's insane.
Yeah.
I haven't watched Jessica Jones, and mine it's pretty good, but like Jessica Jones, Daredevil are the only worthwhile shows. I agree. Honestly, from what I've seen online, a lot of people praise Daredevil as if it's like TV show to ever exist. I agree the TV show is good. I don't think it's nearly as good as people say. Although who knows? Maybe the 3rd season will blow me out of the water. You
Hopefully.
probably know Daredevil to a decent degree. Blind lawyer, fights crime, is kind
Yeah.
of like Batman.
Yeah.
The first season in its entirety is like a little bit of the origin near the beginning, and then you have to fight Kingpin because he's the big bad. Oh, you're scared of Kingpin. And just the dynamic between Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin, Charlie Cox Daredevil, exquisite through the whole thing. The first season is really good. I was hooked the entire way through, and it's like one of the only times I've actually been invested showing off their secret identity. Anyone ever watched the Superman 2 play it by tier, I believe? Quite livid about his secret identity, decanonizing it right near the end with a kiss, which is stupid still. But like I absolutely despise secret identities for the most part. But this show is like the only time I've been really, really invested in it. It's just so good. The first season, at least. The second season, not as good. Daredevil costume, which is fine. Half the second season is split up into Punisher stuff. Punisher is like the villain for the first section of the second season, and then he gets captured in like episode 3, maybe. And then for the rest of and then like the next couple episodes is his court case because he said I'm innocent for killing all those guys, and get like really invested in this court case. You're really, really all the court stuff, and then ninjas show up like the next couple episodes, and it's just really boring. It's so unfortunate. The court stuff engaging, and then the ninjas are boring for about 2 episodes. Finally get back to court and Punisher stuff, but it's kind of too late because your experience has been soured, and then the finale is like half and half Punisher and Ninja. It starts off so strong, but apparently the 3rd season is Kingpin, and I
That's
spoiled part of that show, but it's been it for long enough. If you wanted to watch it, you probably would have watched it already. I just wanted to talk
yeah.
about it and gush a little bit.
That's why I'm somewhat excited for the She-Hulk Disney Plus show, because she is straight up
Oh
like a
yeah,
lawyer, and she breaks the fourth
the
wall,
whole
and they've
time.
already confirmed that she breaks the fourth wall. So I just really hope they
I
focus
just hope it's
on the
anything
lawyer
like those
part.
comics. Yeah, like the She-Hulk comics where she's a lawyer. Honestly, I haven't read them. I've seen snippets, and they just seem like and it just stays as funny, super little drama sprinkled in there. But I feel like I don't know. I don't know She-Hulk super well outside of the lawyer stuff, but I hope they do well because I don't know why, but I get super invested in court stuff in media. I doubt I would be even remotely interested in an actual court case, in like grade 11 when you read To Kill a Mockingbird. To Kill a Mockingbird, there's the court section, and I'm just hooked for a chapter or two, and then it goes back to the normal stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm done. Back to skimming this book.
Yeah, exactly.
You like court stuff? Daredevil's fun, apparently.
Someone like when Marvel really does, I guess, world building kinda, but they just don't do the superhero thing for a bit. I think that's also the best parts of Spider-Man: Homecoming, where they don't do superhero stuff.
Yeah. Or like Hawkeye, the Hawkeye show so far, even though he is doing superhero stuff, a low enough level superhero, got superhero action set pieces, but it's like just guy with bow and arrow. He's having a good time on Christmas, and it's so good.
Yeah. Speaking of Hawkeye, it's personally my favorite Marvel show so far. So,
same here. I think it's close between this and Loki, and I think WandaVision had the strongest start out of. I think Hawkeye, depending how it ends, is gonna take the cake by far.
Yeah, and the fact that we have 2 more episodes, and technically 1 more episode by the time this releases, I hope we get more. I guess the next one on my list is one that the community Discord really wants me to talk about. And I have nobody to talk to about it because unfortunately you haven't seen it. I'm surprised you haven't seen it, but that's fine. I am of course talking about Arcane. Just to preface this, I have never played a League of Legends, nor will I ever play League of Legends. Yeah, I basically saw all the buzz about it. It got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes by the critics, and it's sitting at like a 98 from the audience score. And that is insane. And then also the fact that it beat I believe, the most popular Netflix show, previously it was Squid Game. And so it was like super popular. So I'm like, okay, let me see, because I love critiquing stuff, specifically in the cinematography and somewhat animation. And it 1000% delivered. And I am so excited for you to watch it because number one, the animation is amazing. They literally handed the budget of a show, probably multiple shows, to the people who made the cinematics for League, and League is legendary for the cinematics. I sometimes, like, a few years ago, I went through all of the League animation and the League cinematics, and they look amazing. I don't know what the heck is going on, but they are amazing.
Yeah, I'm actually upset that I haven't watched the show yet. I started the first episode, but I was doing something else, and with a show like that, I want to be like 100% attention.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it yet because it's totally up my alley. I'm so happy what Spiders has done to the animation industry. Mitchell's vs. the Machines, Kane to a degree. There was a trailer that I think released today from DreamWorks called The Bad Guys, which
I saw that.
Also super stylistic. It's like it's such a good thing to animation. The Bad Guys is entirely 3D with 2D section, like 2D effects, like Spider-Verse and Mitchell's.
I saw that trailer today, and it actually looked kind of interesting. Yeah, shout out to Luke, not Lucas, on our Discord. He really wants us to talk about Arcane, so we will 1000% do an episode once Tyler watches it. I want to talk to him about even more, but spoilers.
Yeah, I just
just before you watch it, just remember that they were released in like 3-episode chunks, and I believe there's 9 episodes. And they all like 3 episodes, 3 episodes, 3 episodes. It's a little bit like acts: Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. Yeah, it's great. Please watch it. Don't play League. That's it.
I mean, I guess play League if you want, but at your discretion.
Yeah, just prepared to want to rip your eyeballs out every single game.
Take it from 2 people who've never touched League of Legends in their life.
Listen, I played Valorant for like an entire summer. That was close. If they can make a Valorant show this great, I'll take it.
You talked about anime, right? You're kind of an anime guy.
Kinda.
Me personally, as much. Not as big in anime. It's one anime that people who watch it like to think that no one's ever heard of. A little thing called Jojo's Bizzare. Ooh, fun. Okay, so simply, Jojo's Bizarre Adventure, kind of an anthology series story with slight connections in between them. If you watch the first part going into the second, you kind of go, oh, I get it, and stuff like that. It's not 100% necessary to watch every part, but apparently the It's incredibly angry if you skip any of them. The annoying thing about JoJo is it's really difficult to sell because the first part is really slow and not really like the rest of the show. You started a little bit of part 1, right?
I'm 3 episodes in.
Okay, I don't remember. 3 episodes. Have you seen
Dio has taken.
Has he worn the mask yet?
Yes, he just put on the mask and became, I think, a vampire.
Just put on the mask. Yes. Okay, good. Whew. Don't have to spoil everything then. So yeah, don't get along super well. One brother is adopted, named Dio. Other brother, not adopted, named Jonathan. Dio is kind of a grumpy Gus, you know? He's not the nicest guy. And he just makes Jonathan's life the whole time. His life sucked and he take it out on him. So anyway, Jonathan is a nice guy at this. So he turns himself into a venge on him and takes over. That's what this first part is. It's honestly boring. Jonathan power to breathe really good and beats him up. But you know, if you have seen it, you're like, haha, he does breathe good. If you haven't seen it, you're like, what are you even talking about? So yeah, the first part's really difficult to get through. First part's really hard to get through because it's the rest, because Jonathan is kind of a brick wall of a character. But then you get to part 2. Part 2, where Jonathan's grandson, named Joseph, also learns the power to breathe really good. Beat up gay dubstep vampire gods.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it's so good. It's such a big step up. It's amazing. The rest of these parts, I'm just going to give these brief, almost funny synopses to do to sell people on JoJo for the most part. But part 2, Dio's back. This time, he has the power of stands. Magical guys that stand behind you and have ridiculous powers for no reason. It's pretty much a creative outlet for the writer, so he doesn't have to just make everyone breathe really good. And instead, every single person has a really and it's probably the best part of JoJo. But 3 is really boring because 90% of it's filler. It's just a bunch of flamboyantly dressed mobsters trying to take over the Italian mob, but magical buff dudes with like zero context. Part 6, main character is now a girl stuck in prison, have to beat up a priest before he goes to heaven. Because heaven is ultimate power in JoJo. If you achieve heaven, you become a god. Anyway. We're back in the 1800s and we're on a horse race against the president of the United States to collect the body parts of Jesus to also become ultra powerful.
Wait, what? That escalated quickly. Wait, what?
Yep.
Yeah, I have a feeling that part 1 is going to be one of those anime that I put on my second monitor while I work on something else, kind of like what I'm doing with One Piece right now. For anybody wondering, on Twitter, I am 67 episodes in. Yeah, because right now, it's just, gentlemen, I'm going to fight you, and I challenge you. Oh, wait, now, you're buff, and you're a vampire, and oh no, you killed my father? Like, come on.
Yeah.
It's only 3 episodes in? How the heck do they fill the rest of it? Yeah, I might have to slowly get through this.
Yeah, fair enough. There's a lot of JoJo to cover.
Yeah, I'm sure I will, because like I kind of want to get into the jokes of
JoJo.
Is that a JoJo reference?
I didn't know for the longest time the to be continued JoJo reference until I watched JoJo, and I was like,
yeah, for me it feels really jarring for the to be continued to show up because I've seen it hundreds of times on the meme. It doesn't feel real.
Like, wait a minute. Yeah, fair enough. Like anyone I've ever met get into JoJo when when it finally clicks for you for a really long time, and then you just peter out after a little bit.
That sounds about right.
Alas, I've talked for too long.
Yeah, I'm pretty much done my list. I'll list off some of my favorite kind of anime of the year for sure. K-On! And its movie and second season. It's great. It's about basically 4 high school girls. They just make a band, and it's incredibly wholesome. I cried at the end. Yes. Number 2 is Steins Gate. It's great. It's time travel. It can get a little confusing, but it works. To Your Eternity, there is only a sub. It's basically about this godlike being that is trying to learn humans, and the first episode is amazing. It's also written by the person who did A Silent Voice, which is currently my favorite movie of all time. Odd Taxi. It's basically Zootopia, but a murder mystery, and it's great. If you like murder mysteries, Tyler, I think
Ooh,
you'd like this one
okay.
too. Star Wars Visions,
Okay.
it was okay. You guys probably saw the play-by tier that I did when it did come out.
I did also watch Star Wars Vision. I know I'm a fake fan. I didn't actually see your
Oh, that's fine.
I think or what was your favorite one? I do not remember.
I believe it was called The Village Bride.
Oh, okay, I do remember that one. I'm not sure. Do you like the one with Padawan? The one where the one kid finds the old crazy man,
Oh, yeah,
gets
I think
beat up.
that one was pretty good, but it left me
I saw a lot
wanting
of people
a little bit
hated it
more.
for some reason.
Yeah. I think it was a B on my
I
list.
Yeah, I don't know why I liked it so much. All I know is that Star Wars Visions was like kind of for the most part. I liked a couple of the episodes. I absolutely hated the twin,
Yes.
but it's pretty much how it worked. Like twins was everything I dislike about anime fights, where it was super hard to follow the entire way through. At
That's
least
funny because it was made by
anyway,
Trigger, and usually they're pretty good with that. Yeah. The last anime I have here is Demon Slayer. The first season is on Netflix. The second season is just starting now. It's 2 episodes into an 11 episode season. If you're into animation, it's great. I will admit the first few episodes, maybe the first half of the first season, with their training arc and everything, it can be a little bit slow. But once you get to around episode 20, it ramps up incredibly hard, and it's amazing. And then they keep the energy throughout the movie, which they've also made into, I believe, 12 episodes. And then into the entertainment arc, it looks like.
I do find it funny that I just recommended Jojo that I'm about to complain about this. How many animes kind of come down to, oh, the anime is so good, but you have to get past the first like 25 episodes, which absolutely suck.
Yeah.
That is
Well,
pretty good.
I will admit, like, good Demon Slayer is still Mad Demon Slayer is still good anime, and it was entertaining.
Yeah.
But it's just not as good as when you get to the good part.
Yeah, I know my siblings watch like a lot more anime than I do, and they really like Demon Slayer.
Yeah, me and Cloud in the Discord, we were freaking out at Tengen. It's the kind of the main guy of this arc, and he's awesome. He has 3 wives, some kind of poly relationship there. Everything's great.
Huh.
One last one. Assassination Classroom. It's a classic anime, although I believe it was made in 2012. It has 2 seasons. It's about basically kind of a giant octopus alien thing teaching a class, and the class is trying to kill the giant octopus alien thing. And it has 2 seasons. It's amazing. The ending is amazing. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for 2022. There's some second seasons to some anime I'm excited for. Number 1 is Attack on Titan. That's on January 9th. They also have Vinland Saga Season 2 I'm excited for. Other than that, just Marvel shows. Thank you for joining us and discussing what shows and movies we've watched in 2021. We'd love it if you could follow us on Twitter and listen to future episodes on Spotify and iTunes. Join our community Discord server to continue today's discussion. And we'll see you next time on the Switch Clicks podcast. I heard that bird.